Hello. You ever have problems getting into a key? Well, you're in luck because that is what this video is going to be all about. I have seen a lot of complaints, both on the forums, on the Discords, even some YouTube videos, about how they just can't get into keys. And my personal experience is not that same. I am not having the same issues, and I hope that by making this video to actually help those who are in need. No, it's not exactly helping. What I want to do with this video is to share my experiences. I want to share some advice. There is some advice I can give that I honestly think is going to be beneficial and prove to be extremely valuable, because a lot of the times I do see a pattern repeat, and it is basically, I would sum it up like this. There are three main complaints. It's the no one is inviting me, just in general. It's the I'm spending hours in queue, no one is inviting me. And finally, it's the one I'm always being kicked. I'm always being replaced. I'm gonna handle this in order. I think I'm gonna start with I'm being kicked and how I deal with that. Then I'm gonna do the I'm spending hours in queue. And finally, why no one is inviting me and why that could be. So, first on the block, why am I being kicked? I will be honest there. It always sucks getting kicked for no reason. It has happened to me. It even happened when I was recording this. I was joining a group, as you do, and I was just removed. No reason, no say. Now the question is, why? Why would they remove me? The truth of the matter is, I can never know for sure, but I can tell you some reasons that is very probable. The first reason, and the best reason, is likely a better option showed up in the queue. My worry is not bad, but there's always going to be someone that is better. A second reason for why someone would just remove you could be they having misconceptions. There is always going to be the situation where someone thinks they know the class better than you do. They check your talents, they don't like what they see, and they remove you. And like the final reason, I would just say it's they probably just got a guilty coming in. Of those three, that's usually what happens. It's like a friend, a guilty, family member just wants to get in, and they go like, yeah, I'm just gonna remove this random because that is who you are in this group. That is why you're being so easily replaced and removed. To solve this, just know that this is not a problem. This will happen. It doesn't matter. Just queue up again. What I would do, keep in mind though, is when you are in the situation where you're going to kick someone, just tell them why. It will make the day so much better because nobody likes that feeling of sitting there being like, I don't know why. There's nothing you can do when you get kicked. That is what it is. What you can do something about is when you're just spending hours and hours in queue for no reason. I often see that people attribute this to they not being able or not having the opportunity to get into keys quick or efficiently. This is a half truth. By that I mean that very often people will say they can't get into a key because they just keep on queuing. They queue. They sign up, and never get invited. And I do believe that this do happen. And I do believe if I'd used the same method, I would have the same problem as well. And I do believe it is a problem made by going at it the wrong way. Problem of queuing is that you're queuing wrong, if that makes sense. I did mention that they just queue and hope for a different result. They hope someone's going to take pity or they hope someone's just going to invite them. Now what I do believe is happening here is that they queue till they get lucky. What I want you to do is try to reduce the luck requirement to get in. I myself use some methods, got some tricks that I use to reduce this time sink trap. Instead of queuing randomly, I do have a pattern to it. I got some rules I have set in place, and they drastically reduced the amount of time I spend in there. It's one of those things when you just start getting into it, you just do it naturally. So here are some of the things I do. When I queue, I usually go for a specific target. I have a goal in mind and I decide to go for it. It will help reduce the amount of groups you got to sort through. To do this efficiently, I got an add-on called Pre-Made Group Finder. It will allow me to sort by dungeon. Then I will also use the inbuilt search function in the game to reduce the amount of keys I'm going to be looking at. I am not going to write 10 in the title when I'm looking for my weekly 10. I'm going to write 10 to 10, 10-10. This will reduce your search from being 9, 10, and 11s to only being 10s. It specifies it, narrows it down. Okay, so now I narrow down dungeons. Okay, by deciding which dungeon I'm looking for, I have narrowed down like the key range to make it more efficient for what goal I have set for myself. Then I start looking into the groups. What I'm looking for is, do they need a warrior? Do they fit the warrior? My rule of thumb is basically, do they already have warrior? Then they likely don't want a warrior. Do they already have 2 melee? Then they likely don't want a melee. Some people say that you should care about heroism, if they need heroism or not. For the keys I'm doing, that's not necessary. You will easily get into a group without heroism or a combat rest, even if the group doesn't have it. Simply, in a 10, it's not needed. I know it, they likely know it. It's a 10. Once you push higher, there's going to be other requirements. Then you're going to start at like group composition, but that's not like something I feel it's important to address right now. If that's something you guys want to know more about, then just tell me in the comments and I will address it from there. My advice here is more for people who are struggling to get into keys on the regular, and very often that's not the ones that's pushing the content where this is going to be required. So to sum it up, I search for specific groups, I search for specific keys, I search for specific key ranges, I try to adjust if the group needs a warrior or not before I queue up. There is no need to queue up for a group you know doesn't want you or you're not needed. And as my final advice for making this as efficient as possible, this is like a rule I have when queuing up. Normally you're going to have options. So let's say you want to do a 10 knockwood. I will sign up for 4 knockwoods, like bum 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 bum. The 5th one I'm going to spend more time filtering. I'm going to filter, okay, this one doesn't want me. I go, this group doesn't need a warrior, so no need signing up for that one. Okay, that one group above me declined me. Okay, the next group I just sign up for Nookid. I go down the list, need a warrior, yes, no. If I reach a situation where the group finder is full and I can't sign up for more groups, then keep in mind, if they haven't invited you within the first minute, they're likely not going to invite you anyways. So I just decline one of those and I use that to keep on finding a group. Goal is to efficiently sign up for groups that might want you and not overstay your welcome in the queue finder in groups you know want to invite you anyways, because you've already been in that queue for like a minute. Just DQ from that group, sign up for another one, keep the ball rolling. In this situation where there is no nookuds, but I want to do a nookud, then I got to ask myself, okay, there is no nookuds going up, what do I do? Is there anything else I can do? As I'm usually doing like weekly keys or I'm doing push keys, you can easily just look for another weekly key option or a score push option. So maybe I need a Brackenhide 11 for score, then I will be queuing for Brackenhide 11 for a little while those nookuds ticking down. Then I will go back to nookud filtering. Using this method, I usually find that I get into keys within, I want to say, 5 to 15 minutes. I know there's going to be some people who is going to be rebuking me for this and being like, no, this is not reality. This doesn't work for me. And what you're doing is a lie. Trust me, I already talked to a lot of these guys on the official forums. I tried to like bring them over to my side to use my method, see if that works for them, and they just refuse to try it. So please, I honestly beg you, don't be one of those. Try it out. Take some time to get used to. There is method to the madness. It will save you so much time down the line. Don't be that guy who goes, no, it goes 8 hours in queue. No one is inviting me. This game is broken. It's all unfair. There's no fix. There's no end in sight. There's nothing I can do. Instead, just try the method that I have presented and hopefully it will help you. And if it did, just leave a comment down below. Help me prove it to them that this actually is a fix. Help me prove it to them that this actually works. Okay, so I did go on a bit of a rant there. I really did. Going back on track, uh, let's see, the next thing in line was why you're not getting invited. There's no easy fix to this. So first I'm going to go through some reasons why they wouldn't invite you. Like the most obvious ones are the ones already pointed out. Maybe they don't need a warrior, maybe they're looking for heroism, maybe they're looking for combat rest, those kinds of things. There's also another whole layer to why you're not getting invited, and that is basically raid IO. Raid IO, for Just in case if you don't know, it is a system which gives you a score based on what you have completed in the season in Mythic Plus. This system is both in the base game as a shown score and extended upon through an add-on from where this system originally came from, that being Raider.io. To simplify the system, it helps people know how good you are, how experienced you are, and what they should be able to expect from you before they invite you into a key. You kind of can look at it as like the higher score you got, the better you are. Exceptions are if you are not completing your keys on time and that is shown as your top key and score, then people will likely second guess their decision to invite you. If they are trying to time a Brackenhide 12, they're likely not going to invite you if you have an untimed 11. So even if your score is higher than someone else that has signed up, if you have your untimed and they got theirs on time, they will likely be seen as the better option. This is how Rider.io will affect if you get invited or not. To fix this, you need to look at your Rider.io. Simple as. The higher you go, the more important this is going to be and the more familiar you're going to be with it. But if you're totally new, all you need to do is care about your score and your item level. When you start out, you don't have to care about min-maxing the system. All you need to care about is completing your key in time as high as possible. Simple as. But you must remember that the system is there and it will affect if you get into a key or not. So do your best to adjust the system into your favor. That should be enough about Radar.io for now. I keep on going on rants basically, and for that I'm sorry, but I do hope that this video has been helpful, and I do hope it has given you some tips, some advice to how to fix your issues. And I truly do believe that the solution to the problem is mainly in the part 2 here. It's mainly about being efficient with your time, as all the problems are basically solved with time passing in keys. If there's anything like you feel I missed to point out or talk about, just leave it in the comments below. You're likely going to be the only one, so that's going to be some good service for you. This all said, I think it's a good time to call this video. Thank you so very much for watching this, and I do hope you have a happy day and a happy coming week.